Hey everybody, Dr. Baker here. I want to talk to you about coffee. Good, bad, either way. So pros and cons of coffee. Number one, as you know, if you drink too much of it, it's not good. And what it does, it affects your adrenal glands, it affects your cortisol levels. And when it pushes cortisol levels up, that usually most people increases energy, prevents you from falling asleep. But if you do it too much, what happens is your adrenal glands get burnt out, your cortisol levels are off, and ultimately you need it to stay awake. You've probably been in that spot where you've been drinking throughout the day, it's like you have to have it, and you get to a point where it doesn't even give you energy anymore. And so just be aware of that. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and tell you that I don't drink coffee. I have a cup of coffee every morning, but I don't drink it in the afternoon anymore because I found that if I actually do powdered greens or work out or do something else throughout the day, I have a lot more energy and then I don't crash as hard at night. And so coffee is also a good antioxidant. So there are benefits to it as well. The caffeine can be a vasodilator. You can have more blood flow, mental stimulant. There's all kinds of different benefits as well, but there's some pitfalls. So how do you make the coffee? Let's talk about coffee maker first of all. I'm not promoting any sort of coffee maker. For the longest time, I just had Mr. Coffee or whatever it is. And the problem with that is whenever you're heating up water in plastic, there's a chance that the phthalates and different problems with the plastic are going to leak into the water. And so that can ultimately be creating a toxicity issue with every cup of coffee you're drinking in the morning. Now, the other thing is when you're making coffee, what filter are you putting it in? Because those bleached filters, think about this, if you're putting hot water and coffee in a bleached filter, is there any chance you're getting bleach in your coffee? Think about these things. What kind of coffee is it? Is it organic? Does that make a big difference? Look, these are things that I want to ask you questions more so than tell you. I want to prompt your thought process and have you start looking into it. But my thought pattern is if coffee is sprayed with pesticides, then why would I not at least get an organic bean? And so organic coffee, the brown filter so it's not bleached, and then trying to have a coffee maker that is mostly stainless steel, glass, French press, whatever, or at least BPA free plastic. And so I'm going to take the coffee, I'm going to pour it into the blender. Now, yeah, you don't need a blender, right? You can just put it in a shaker, you can put it in a cup, you can put it whatever. You don't have to add all the stuff that I'm about to add, but if you're somebody that likes putting creamer in your coffee, you're somebody that likes putting scoops of sugar in there, or you're looking for different alternatives to make it taste different or better, maybe you like to go out to a coffee shop and you always get a mocha or whatever that looks like. There's a lot healthier ways to do it. And so, first off, we're going to start with butter. And you're like, butter? Bro, you put butter in your coffee? I'm like, yeah, well, it's better than creamer. And so I have a grass-fed organic butter source. And so we're not messing with hormones, antibiotics, any other possible stuff when we have a bad dairy source. And so the butter, it's the most like rich, amazing creamer ever. Give it a shot before you knock it. Most of you guys have heard of bulletproof coffee. I don't personally put coconut oil in my coffee, but you could. Here's the idea. Putting more good fats in your body is going to be beneficial no matter what, when, or how. But coconut oil and or butter in coffee is one way to do that. And so I'm going to turn the blender on. It's going to get a little bit noisy. So let me talk about what I'm going to do before I go through that process. I'm going to put the butter in, and I let it spin in there so that it's not separating. If you just put the butter into your cup, then it creates this like oil on top of the water, and you've got this like film, as opposed to it being mixed throughout the entire thing. And so that's why I like to use a blender. So first I'm going to put in the butter, and then as far as a sweetener, a couple different options. I actually have monk fruit, which I forgot to put out here, but monk fruit, if I'm doing ketogenic and I want to cut out the sugar, then I would use a scoop of monk fruit. And monk fruit's not going to spike my sugar levels nearly as much as honey, but as far as honey goes, this is my favorite honey. And when I show you it, it's like saltwater taffy. So butter, monk fruit if I'm going keto, honey if I'm not really concerned about it, but I want a good a source of sweetener that is not just powdered sugar or not powder, but granulated processed sugar. The other thing that I would do and consider is a scoop of cocoa, however you pronounce it. And the reason why is because it's an awesome, awesome antioxidant, and I'm getting that chocolate flavor in my coffee. The other thing that I enjoy putting in is cinnamon. Again, not only is it delicious, but cinnamon's got a ton of benefits, and one of them is actually regulating blood sugar. And so that can help not have blood sugar spikes when you're putting things like honey into it. So let's do it. This is my favorite when it's brand new. I mean, look at this thing. I just want to eat it right now, but I like to scoop it like that. Again, you guys get your honey wherever you want to get your honey, but I'm always going to use Idaho stuff if I can, and this is called Cox honey, and it's actually made right here in Idaho. So, got my honey, got my butter, got my cocoa, got my cinnamon. Let's rip. Easy. This blender gets a little bit rowdy. Do not use that in. That was almost a cinnamon disaster. My daughter did that with salt the other day. Watch out for that. Rain and cinnamon, baby. All right, so this is also not a Yeti commercial, but I'm a big fan of Yetis. They hold things, they keep them hot forever. And the main thing I want to tell you with that is just, if you are not putting it in glass, do your best to put it in some form of stainless steel, similar to that. Because anytime we're gonna have a hot liquid, try to not put it in plastic or styrofoam as much as possible, because again, that's creating a toxicity issue. Yeah, you should try that. It's pretty good.